Oak Bay, Gordon Head.
Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 35. As advised in Standing Order 35, I gave Chair advance notice and I provided a written statement of the matter proposed to the Clerk. By leave, I move that this House do now adjourn to discuss a matter of urgent public importance, namely that in light of this year's record temperatures, drought, lack of snowpack and forest fires, and with a 90% probability that El Niño will persist into the winter, exacerbating present conditions, whether we as legislators are acting with sufficient urgency and demonstrating the appropriate leadership on preparing for and mitigating the escalating impacts of climate change on our province. To be clear, Madam Speaker, I'm not calling for a debate on the impact of climate change. Standing Order 35 obviously excludes debating a matter of ongoing nature, and there is no doubt that climate change will challenge every aspect of our life in our province for decades to come. However, Honourable Speaker, as laid out in my motion, the matter of urgent public importance concerns whether we as legislators are acting with sufficient urgency and demonstrating the appropriate leadership on preparing for and mitigating the escalating impacts of climate change on our province. I submit to you, Madam Speaker, and to the House that this session offers us no other adequate opportunity to have this debate, a debate that is urgent and in the public interest, given the upcoming United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change discussions that will take place at the 21st Conference of Parties in Paris this December, a conference where our Premier will be speaking about BC's supposed climate leadership. Honourable Speaker, this debate is particularly urgent as the government plans to use carbon offsets through the protection of forests to help reduce our legislated greenhouse gas reduction targets. Yet, Honourable Speaker, under UNFCCC rules, government cannot adopt this risky path unless it also includes emissions from forest fires in annual reporting. As legislators, it's critical that we have the opportunity to have this debate prior to any representations being made on a global stage regarding BC's planned response to climate change. There will be no other opportunity to have this debate during this session, and with uncertainty as to whether we will have another legislative sitting in advance of this conference, it's critically important that this chamber turn its attention to our role as legislators in addressing climate change, providing the people of British Columbia an opportunity to hear where its government stands on whether it is acting appropriately and urgently enough in the face of extreme weather-related events happening all around us. There are few debates, Honourable Speaker, that are more urgent or are of greater public importance. I urge you and this House to support this motion.
Government House Leader.
Thanks, Madam Speaker, and to the member. I'm relatively certain of two things. One is we have certainly experienced some extreme conditions in the province these past number of weeks that have contributed to some challenging circumstances, and we heard about that earlier from the Minister. Nor do I doubt the member's interest and commitment to addressing some of the underlying issues that may or may not be contributing to that. Having said that, we are also bound and obliged to conduct proceedings in this chamber pursuant to the standing orders. The member has risen pursuant to Standing Order 35. It is very much the urgency of debate that the chair, in past rulings focusing on these matters, addressed. And though I can appreciate that the member would prefer the dedicated time that Standing Order 35 would provide for addressing this matter, there are other opportunities during the time that the House is sitting to raise these matters and have them considered by members. And in my respectful submission to the House and to the member, the motion, and I listened carefully to the motion. I haven't seen it yet, but I listened as the member read it into the record. I would suggest the motion falls short of the historic threshold for adopting and moving to a section or Standing Order 35 debate. But as always, I will anxiously await the chair's ruling on the matter.
I thank you for the submission.